Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the ninth lesson, developing and communication lesson. And this lesson actually belongs for the development mainly. Development idea mainly we can see just ideally growing or some kind of evaluation, growing ideas. And growth, sometimes better implementation, that type of ideas we can see according to the development idea. And this one have another part in there, developing and communication. That is the point. So communication, already we know what is communication. Communication, the feeling, thoughts, and information we can exchange to someone, selected one. That is the information idea. Sorry, communication idea. And in here, we development communication. The two words are there. So this is not only communication. In here, we can see development and the communication. It means we can use communication for development. The point. Use communication for development means some kind of what are the things, what are the systems that we can use to communicate with other people. Sometimes use the mass media, sometimes we can use the social medias nowadays. Now new media is also there. Now we use that thing to communicate with each others and communicate with others. And we can use the systems to develop the country, develop the state, or develop the some kind of methods and systems. So development, it's a thing, system, process, and we can use for development, develop something. So according to that, firstly I add that into the PDF, WhatsApp group. You can use that PDF to the lesson. So just we discuss that thing, that what is development. Firstly, we can get the idea. Development is some kind of better improvement, implementation. Told you about that. And firstly, develop concept. This concept actually comes before actually in 18th, 19th centuries. We can see that thing, the idea. And after that thing, development ideas there. And after 1950s, development and the communication, these two concepts actually combine. Then after that thing, we can see developing communication. But before that thing, development ideas only is there. Development concept actually comes after 18th century idea, 18th century things. We know the 17th century, 18th century, 19th century also we can see some ideas. In the 17th century, some revolutionized ideas are there. 18th century also we can see some revolutionized ideas. In the 19th century also we can see some wars in there. It means after Second War, we have to use communication properly for the development. That idea comes because most of the state leaders, most of the people misusing communication in that time. That's why we have to use the communication after that incidents. So 18th century idea is there. According to the Tute, I just read that thing. With the Industrial Revolution, in the 18th century, we know the Industrial Revolution thing is there. Factory-based ideas, factory development, productions, service providing, that ideas all are there. And the Industrial Revolution really helpful for develop the sectors, communication, productions, manufacturing something, that type of things. And it can be said that it's the concept that affect the rise of agriculture and other field. So highlight, we have to highlight that word in here. Agriculture and other fields are there. mainly agriculture, agro-farming systems, and the rural areas. So you get the point. This development actually starts from the rural areas firstly with the agro-farming their systems. After that thing, we can see the other areas, urban ideas. After the globalization, we can see the global development idea. Then, basically, this concept is introduced by UNESCO. You have to know about that thing. Huh? UNESCO, they developed that firstly. It means the development communication concept. Huh? Development concept is there. After the Second World War, they developed this developing communication concept. Why after the Second World War? Because in the Second World War, more actually very violent and more things are there than the First World War. First World War actually we can see 19 to 80. In that time also Germany is the main country for that World War. Second World War also same like that. Second World War also main country is Germany, and the person who mainly support and do the war is Hitler, no, Adolf Hitler. So according to that Adolf Hitler's systems, according to that more violent and more warfare type systems and human violation and human rights against concept, extremism developing, nationalism developing, that idea, more physical and human damages are there. That's why after the Second World War, the UNESCO actually tried to develop this type of concept, because if it happens again, it's really a problem for the countries. Not only America or Germany or any other country, all the world actually face for that thing after a problem. Okay. Then there were many physical and human damages. I told you. Physical and human damages are there. That's why they try to put this type of concept for the society. Because if they follow this thing, sometimes it's really helpful for the development idea. So they recommended to use the method as a basic concept to build countries for it. Basic concept to build countries. Okay. Then after that thing, 1950s. 1950s, the idea of the development was first brought to the people. Who UNESCO people, they developed this developing communication idea, and they combine the concepts and they introduce that thing to society. That is the point. Then after that thing, but they could not understand. Actually, in that time, that people don't have much about the communication, no much more literacy about the development or something. That's why they can't understand the actual things in there. What is the actual development or what is the actual communication development idea? They can't. Then in 1960s, again 1960s, they try to explain that thing about the development and the communication, these two combined concepts. But unfortunately, that time also same like people can't understand the actual what is development and what is communication idea. Why? Because that people don't have much more literacy, and people don't know much more critical idea and the communication. So that's why they can't understand the actual idea. After that, but it course could not be implemented. That is the point, according to the view. It was only 1970s that people recognized development as a concept. See, that count it down. Count it now. Now, 1950s is the first time they introduced this concept to society. 50s. After the 1950s, 70s, how many years between these things? Totally, actually, we can get that 20 years are there. So think about literacy. That's why literacy become a main factor, main criteria for the development. Because literacy, without literacy, people can't understand what is development, how we control, what is the actual purpose about this thing. Okay, so literacy is the main factor, main criteria in the development. This is in this point we can understand. 19 people don't have much more literacy. They can read, they can write, okay, they can understand, but according to the development, they can't understand what is development because most of the people, most of the state leaders, and most of the people, they develop the development idea. What thing actually? They always develop that development idea as a physical development thing. It means road constructions, buildings, that type of things are the only development. People always think about that thing. But development is not like that, no. Development is not like that. Development is the better improvement of several so many sectors actually. Like that health sector, education sector, transportation, security, law and order, that thing, society, political base, all the things actually activated and all the things actually better development, that is the development. So it's some kind of a collection of better improvement. That is the idea. But unfortunately, people always that state leaders always motivate for that thing. Development is not human spiritual development. Development means structure development. It's construction. Development means building construction or something. That is not the development. That is the point. Then after that thing, development means better development. Sometimes better improvement use as a word in that development idea. Just note down that thing. Huh? Better improvement also, okay. Then the economy is fundamental there. But the economy alone, actually that according to the development of any other country or any other sector area, economy is the number one thing. Mainly we want money. For anything, money. Firstly, we want money. Without money, how we can spend how we can do something properly according to the professional way. But understand that thing, okay? According to the way, how we can do that thing without money. So that's why this thing is really important for us. Economy is a fundamental thing for the development. Economy is a fundamental thing. Okay? And it's not enough with alone. No? It means culture, law, politics, morality, literacy, health. These all the things have to develop. These all the things have to develop. Okay, without that thing we can't develop. That is the point. Without that thing we can't develop. That is the point. Okay, right? After that thing, all this should be developed. When the development is such a way, countries are divided into three worlds. It is follows. According to the truth, we develop a chart in and what are the things that we can see in here. So according to the economical states, according to the economical measurements, three types of worlds we can see the development. The first stage actually first world countries. First world countries means economically, strategically, great one, number one countries. Okay. And secondly, we can see the second world countries. Second world countries means factory based, that type of social factory-based, industrial-based ideas are there. Third world countries means actually it's not belong for the first world and second world both. And third world countries don't have a stable economy. Third world countries don't have much more improvements than the first world countries. So according to that thing, first world country, second world countries economy, third world countries economy, and after that, first world countries education level, political level, that type of ideas. And the first world, second world, third world ideas. For the first world, actually, economical stages, actually, according to the economical state, for the first thing, that first world countries' economical state, capitalist. Capitalist economy is actually mainly they focus for the money, earning things. Earnings are mainly weak there. Capitalist economy. And second world economy all the times is depend on the industrial concepts. It means ideas, manufacturing and producing factory-based ideas are there. And thirdly, the third world countries, their economical states are mixed economical idea means sometimes they get some funds from the first world countries and sometimes they get some funds from that second world countries also. First world countries means USA, that type of countries also funding for them, and second world countries also funding for them. This idea is there, okay? And after that thing, uh, now the political stage. According to the first world countries' political stage, it's actually a very kind of a democratic political stage. Statics are there. Democratical means what thing? People can do anything for their goods. People have the freedom, people have the independent idea to develop their goods. That is the point. Okay. And why the peoples, that all the peoples have the good earnings, good economy, and they don't want to blame for others, and they always have the money. That's it. Secondly, second world countries, social political idea that they have, socialist political. So social means communist idea, you know. In that countries, Japan, China, India, that countries have this idea. Communist idea is there. Mainly Japan, China, that people have. People power mostly they trust. You know that Mao Zedong in the Japan, the China, that they believe all the times human power. Now also they have so many factories that Toyota, Suzuki, Honda, Mitsubishi, that type of things are there. And India also have that Piaggio, TVS, Tata, Leyland, so many things they have. Bajaj thing. And Japan, Toshiba, Panasonic, that ideas are there. Think about manufacturing things are there. And their political system, also the factory-based systems are there, no mainly economy. It means people power is there always. So people always together and they get the ideas together, and after that they develop the policies. So always the government trusts the people's opinions, and government trust the people's requirements, and they listen to that. And peoples gather together the ideas and they develop what thing. That is the point. And third one, third world countries, our type countries, have what thing? We have the mixed politics. That is the problem. Firstly, in the economy thing also, The economical thing, economically also, this one actually mixed one, right? We don't have money, so get some funds from the other. In the politically also same like that. In the politically, also we get the support from the other countries. So think about in our politically, our Sri Lankan full title name is what thing? What is the name? Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. That is the point. Democratic Socialist Republic from Sri Lanka. So you can see the democratic idea in the first world country based idea. Socialist means the second world idea, political idea. So we have the republic and Sri Lanka. So political, democratical and social means mixed. So mixed politics we have. So it means no proper vision. That is the problem. No proper vision. Then after that, but only one thing very same. That is the literacy idea. Now political change, politically first world countries, economically first world countries, capitalist, second world industrial, third world mixed. Politically, democratical, socialist and mixed. This one literacy. I think Asia, we are number one country with this literacy base. Literacy is the best and main criteria for development. No? So in our country also, high literacy is there. Some literacy is there sometimes than the India. India have the technical literacy than us. That's why its difference comes there. But literacy in the first world countries, they have the money, they have the facilities, they give all the schools and preschools and universities. So automatically they have the good literacy idea. Second world schools also same like that. That academics, preschools, universities, all the areas have a good literacy. And third world country we also have the literacy based idea mainly because in the past also our education system and our spiritual ideas all are actually good. That's why our literacy actually high. Next one is gross domestic product. In the world rankings, world ratings, we says GDP, gross domestic. It means how many earnings, how many productions that we can see in a country in annually. So the first world countries automatically they have the good outcomes in the several. Because GDP rate is high in the first world countries because their productions, high-end productions are there because they have the good economy. And the secondly, in the industrial economical second world, their GDP rate also high. Why? All the times we can see so many factories are there. All the times we can see all the people connect together and they develop the policies and trading things. Okay. So that's why the GDP rate high in the second world countries also. In the third world countries, our countries don't have that much GDP rate high because our according to our population, according to our sectors, actually this is not USA, this is not UK or something. So according to our vision, our GDP is actually not high. You already know about that thing. That's why we want some foreign currency things, foreign support, funding, that type of things we want. Why? Our GDP rate is not high. Other thing is what? Personal income. Actually, you know, the first most of the school students actually do some part times and they own the vehicles and they have everything enjoyment life in there. Because in that lifestyle, open culture ideas, they are we can't blame for that thing. Actually, that culture we can't apply because our system actually totally different from that. So, but personal income, actually their income already high. Okay, no problem that thing because they are talks about the copper, gold, all things are there, coal mines are there, oil trade is there. That. And secondly, second world countries actually GDP rate okay and Personal income also, all the people's factory-based peoples, workers are there. They work hard and pay so money for them. That's the thing. And after that thing, third world countries, our countries, actually, according to personal income, issues are there. But in the South Asia, our earnings okay. But according to the other countries, our personal income is some kind of a low area. That is the point. Okay. Now we have first world countries examples, second world countries examples, and third world countries example. That thing you have to put in there. For the first world countries example, mainly USA, United States of America, and nextly England is there. England, UK is there, and Canada. Canada also same like that. Canada also same like that because all are super countries good earnings they have. Most of people try to go that type of countries to Canada, USA, UK. Most of people try to go for that migrate to that type of countries because their education ideas, their salaries, their accommodations, universities, experience is wow. So they think always this type of countries, first world countries, so they can go there and they can enjoy that life. That's not the problem. You have a dream for that thing, you can do that. But second world country, next one. Second world countries mainly China, Cuba, Czechoslovakia, and Russia, Japan. Now the India also there. So many things. They have the factories and they maintain the factories, and so many people working there. And that majority of the people is the thing, the power of this. And after that thing, third world countries there. Third world. Third world, our Sri Lanka. We know our country, our Sri Lanka, but one of the best countries, South Asian the countries. Okay, we are, and we have the what is that Somalia, Ethiopia, that type of ideas are there. And sometimes that some rural, not rural, religiously controlled also add for this thing. According to that thing, Saudi Arabia, we have to add this thing, but Saudi Arabia, that trade thing also there, oil trade thing is there. Someone have the doubt about that thing. Why Saudi Arabia for a third world country? But problem is this thing, oil thing, okay. But their traditions, their behaviors, that type of things are not okay. That's why it's happening. Move to the next page after that. The 20th century, economists and politicians have explained that the term economic development, okay, rest on factors such as the development with regards to the per capita. We have to mark that thing in there. Per capita, okay, income and highlight and or economical state where in economic welfare measures are shown as indicators. That is the point. So during the 1950s and 1960s, ideas such as development and corporations and communications for development, as well as the idea of development of communication. So first they highlight 1950s. Firstly they start this concept, but people can't understand. After 60s they try, but they also same like that. That was 1970s. Firstly, lastly they try. Then that time people understand that thing and people try to get the idea about the development. It comes to the communication with development. Most of the mass media were the primary ones. In that time, primary media type, much more technological things we can't see in that time. Like radio, newspaper, they become important, highlight that. Wilbersham, the father of communication study, who commenced on the centrality of the mass media and communication here, just highlighted. And 1964, writing the learner and the communication in the developing countries. You have to underline that book name. With Daniel Lerner. Daniel Lerner is the other scholar in 1964. Daniel Lerner is the other scholar with other scholar. With Daniel Lerner, Wilbersham developed a book, published a book. Name is Communication in the Developing Countries. To underline that. According to that point, book, he introduced uh, 6 points with Daniel Lerner. But the first thing, mass media should be used to reduce the gap. Just highlight the reduce the gap. But if there's a gap, people can't understand the government's policies. Government can't understand the people's interest or people's problems. That's a problem. So that's why they use this reducing. It's not a good thing. Second one, government policy should be communicated to the public through mass media. Okay. Should be commented to the public through mass media. Just highlight. Communicated to the public through mass media. Mass media have to communicate with each other's people, and mass media have a responsibility to do that thing. Just highlight. Mass media means television and radio thing. It means electronic media and print media. Third one, mass media is needed to make people aware of the development. Highlight. People aware of development. But very important, and that is the idea. So development is not a development, just word. It has so many things. That is the point in here. And after that thing, mass media should be used the traditions that highlight the modernized idea. Modernize the traditional society, that's the point. And fifth one, it should be included as a form of communication for school education. Just highlight what thing? Form of communication, school education. That also really important. And after the last passages for today, this thing, the acceptance of the concept of the interrelationship of the Western world with the third world countries was shown as relationship that give up as explorative and negative supportive measures are there. Highlight that thing. Negative supportive measures. As a result, the newest theme happened to be the formulation of a new development in a new direction that contains one's own path of development, conscience. Thus emerged the concept of the communication for development, communication and in front of forefather. So lastly, communication for development came to be known as the wider scope, just highlight, wider scope, that gives way to the more democratical form. That's the point. So according to this point, actually we can understand development is not only just a concept. Development is the actual responsibility. So responsibility mainly handled by the government. And mass media always develop a bridge between the government and the people. And mass media have the responsibility. That's why Wilbersham and Daniel Lerner says mainly Wilbersham is the father of communication studies. So he developed this idea to maintain and develop the actual idea about the development with the communication usage. So without communication usage, they can't develop something more. But if you want to develop something more, firstly, you have to understand communication is the number one thing for that thing. That is the point. So understand that thing. So next day also, we can about the development idea. And next day, development and the communication. What is the combined idea about this idea? Next day, we move to that about the cute. I already had that thing for you. The idea is the development definitions. With the development definitions are there, and the developing communication definitions also there. So development definition is three things are there. Dudley Sears, Edgar Owens, Mahatma Gandhi. Three main definitions are there for the development. Developing communication definition. Developing communication definitions, five definitions are there. Mainly UN idea is there. Roman Convention ideas, the Rome Convention. After that, Sylvia Weisbord idea. After that, is Srinivas Melkote ideas. Lastly, the Malmo University idea. So, we discuss that. And you can join with us at 5 to discuss about the definitions. And thanks for joining. And thank you all the guys. And catch you later next Friday, 5 p.m. And you can join with to discuss what are the definitions of the communication, developing communication and development. Thank you. Bye. Good night.